Okay, so welcome to tonight's webinar. As you can see from the front slide there, tonight we're talking about your first 4 weeks. And this is one of a series of 8 webinars which I run. It's in I call them the Kleeneze Circle of Success. Last week we covered getting started, which was just about kind of getting your catalogues together. This is some of the other things that you should be aiming to do in your first few weeks on top of just putting your catalogues out and getting them back in again. I record all of these webinars and I'll show you at the end where the recordings are, so if there's anything that I go over that you didn't quite catch or you want to just remind yourself of, you can watch the recording again. Or if you've got team members that you want to share it with who couldn't make it tonight, then you can just point them at the recording and they can just catch up with it when they've got a chance as well. So in tonight's webinar, we're going to be covering setting and achieving your first goal, which is goal setting is a really important part of Kleeneze. So setting and achieving your first one is a vital part really to get you into that habit. A little checklist of things that you should be doing in your first 4 weeks, and then a quick introduction to a couple of things that you may not have been aware of when you first thought about joining Kleeneze, if you just saw it as a way of earning an extra, say, £50 a week doing catalogues. So a quick introduction to the residual income side of Kleeneze and to the team building, and just really how to make a quick start at doing the team building before you even really know how to. So hopefully that all makes sense. So when you're setting your first goal, when you first join Kleeneze, you should have in your mind kind of your reasons for joining. What was it you wanted out of Kleeneze? And that should give you a kind of a basis for setting your first goal. And what I always try and do with new team members is ask them to think about what they would like to achieve from Kleeneze in the short term. So that's in the first kind of 1, 2, 3 months. And for most people, it's something like I'd like to earn an extra £50 a week. And what I would ask you to do is not just think about the £50 a week, but actually think about what you want the money for, because your Kleeneze journey over the next months and years will be a bit of a roller coaster. You'll have great days, you'll have not so good days, you'll have good weeks and bad weeks. And if you're just kind of doing it on a day-to-day basis, and you sort of have a bad day and think, oh, this is rubbish, I'm not going to bother with this anymore, then you could be missing out on a fantastic opportunity. But if you've got some really good, clear goals as to what you're doing it for, and whether that's just to be able to pay the rent, or whether that's to be able to treat the kids to a pizza and a film at the end of each week, or whatever it might be, having a kind of an emotional and a visual goal is much more powerful than just having kind of £50 a week was what I was looking for. But once you've kind of got an idea of what that first goal would be, you need to think about what parts of the business you should be focusing on to achieve that goal. And there are 2 parts to Kleeneze, as I said there, and I guess most of you will be familiar with it, but there's the retail side, which is mostly catalogues, but as we're seeing more and more now getting into the online side. And the second part of it is the team building part. And depending on what your initial goals were, you might want to focus on one or other part of it. So basically, if you're looking for money now, if you're looking for an extra £50 for the next week or whatever to help pay some bills or something like that, then really the retail side, putting your catalogues out quickly, a couple of times every week for the first kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 months, is the way to sort of build that money, get that money quickly. If you're more interested in a longer term residual income, and the income from it in the short term isn't what you're after, then the team building is something that you would want to start picking up on fairly quickly. And a good question you need to ask yourself is, how much time are you able to commit to achieving this first goal? So if your goals are to be able to earn £200 a week, 800, maybe £1,000 a month, something like that, to replace a full-time income, then you can certainly do that. But if you're hoping to achieve that by just putting a few catalogues out on a Saturday morning and picking them up again on a Tuesday evening, then you might find you need to commit more time to achieve that particular goal. So, quick question from you all. Can I just ask, either if you're fairly new in the business, or if you can remember when you first started in the business, what was your first goal? Did you have an idea of what you were kind of hoping to get out of Kleeneze? And if it was money, what it was you wanted the money for? Holiday, that's good. Very good, Amanda. I think that's a good one because you can kind of visualize it, the sun, the sunny seaside, or the week at Butlins or whatever. Good. Covering bills, I mean, that's really important, Neil. Obviously, car tax, David, I mean, that's fantastic because you can kind of visualize what your life might be like if you can't put your car on the road. So just having enough to to keep your car on the road is really important. So good. I'm glad you've all kind of got an idea of what you were working towards, because if you kind of got some vision in your mind of what you're hoping to get out of Kleeneze, and if you can ask these same questions to your team members, I find Kleeneze is a lot easier to do when you've kind of got something in your mind, a picture of the holiday or the car that you need to keep on the road, or whatever it might be. But what also is important is you have to be patient with Kleeneze. Kleeneze isn't a job. It's not something where you can do an hour's work and you get paid your £5 an hour or £10 an hour. You need to give it some time to build up that customer base. But taking action consistently and persistently will pay off in both sides of the business, both the retail side, and that's the most important part of the retail side, is just being aware that every time you're putting your catalogues out, you're just sowing some more seeds in potential customers, and they may not all order from you the first time around, but if you keep doing it, you'll gradually get a nice customer base where you're getting paid a lot more than you do when you first start off. So you need to be patient and you need to give it some time. It's no good sort of thinking after a week, oh, this isn't working. So once you've got in your mind what your first goal is, what you'd like to achieve, then you need to believe and you need to understand what you need to do to achieve that first goal. And to achieve that goal, what you need to think about and make sure you can do is work out what actions you need to take to achieve that goal. And what I ask you to do is to focus on the actions that you're taking, because you can control that. An action might be putting 100 catalogues out or putting 200 catalogues out. If you're focusing on, can I earn 50 quid, you're focusing on the results rather than can I put 200 catalogues out. And the results might be the same. Putting 200 catalogues out might deliver you £50 of income from your orders, but you can't control that. What you can control are the actions. So as I've said there, the goals that you're aiming for are achieved by your results. So let's say £150 worth of orders, that will give you sort of 21% of that. Repeat that over your next few weeks, and you'll gradually be hitting your bonuses and get yourself up to £50 a week. And those results come from the actions that you take. So as I've said there, for example, if your goal, I know Amanda was talking there about being able to go for a nice holiday. So suppose your goal was to be able to have a holiday which was going to cost you £1,000, and you wanted to achieve that in 6 months. So in order to achieve that goal, what you need are the following results. Basically, you need around about £5,000 worth of orders in those 6 months, because at 20% that's going to give you the £1,000. Obviously that's your commission from those orders, and that's excluding bonuses and things that you have on top of that as well. And maybe the bonuses might be your spending money, for example. So £5,000 in orders in a 6-month period means you need to be able to put in around about £800 in orders per month. Okay, that sounds kind of quite a lot if you haven't done that before. But what actions would result in that? Well, if you put out 800 catalogues a month, that should, over a period of time, certainly over 6 months, if you're putting out 800 catalogues every month over 6 months, you should soon hit £800 in orders. The average is £1 per catalogue that you put out. Now, 800 catalogues a month might sound quite a lot, but actually it's only 200 catalogues a week. And 200 catalogues a week could simply be 100 catalogues on a Monday and 100 catalogues on Thursday. So you've gone from a goal, which is £1,000 holiday in 6 months' time, and that sounds like, well, okay, that sounds like a goal. How can I get to there? To your actions, which is simply, can I put out 100 catalogues on Monday? Well, hopefully you can. If you've joined Kleeneze, it's because you've got some time to do it. And can I put out another 100 catalogues on Thursday? So those actions, putting out 100 catalogues twice a week, you can control that. You can choose every single Monday to put those catalogues out and every single Thursday to put them out again. And if you do that consistently and persistently, you will achieve your goal. And as I've said here, focus on what you can control. You can control the putting out of the catalogues. So, once you know what actions you need to take to achieve your goal, then you need to plan how you're going to take those actions. And what I recommend is having some kind of weekly planner. So here's a very simple one. This is what I used when I first started off. Basically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday across the top, and then morning, afternoons, and evenings down the side. And you just put in there, you block out any commitments that you can't change. So if you're working at the moment and you're working maybe from 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening or something like that, then you can block that out, and you might be able to go out for an hour or so some mornings before you go to work, or in the evenings and weekends, whenever it might be. And then basically what you do is you put in there the different actions that you need to take to achieve that goal that you set yourself. So for example there, Monday I've got pick up one, so I've put catalogues out. If you look at on the Thursday here, I dropped my catalogues, my first lot of catalogues on the Thursday, and my goal was to pick them up on the Monday. I dropped a second lot of catalogues on the Friday, which I was picking up on the Tuesday. So by putting the different steps in that you need to take, putting the catalogues out, picking them back up again, picking up stragglers, because you won't get them all back the first time you go round, putting your orders in, and then delivering those orders to your customers. By putting all those things into a weekly planner, you get away from the, ooh, do I feel like putting my catalogues out today, to the disciplines of just having it on your schedule for this is what I do on Mondays, this is what I do on Thursdays. And it's much easier. You can control these tasks, and if you continue doing that, it will help you to achieve those goals. So again, quick question. Those of you who have been in the business a while now, I think certainly there's a few of you there I recognise who have been in the business for a little while. Do you now have a weekly routine that you kind of stick to fairly rigidly? Well, not rigidly, but kind of, so you don't have to get up and think, oh, do I feel like putting my catalogues out today? You just always do your catalogues on certain days, and you do it without even having to think about it. Yep, chopping Friday for Monday, I think that's really common. Yeah, using a planner as I work my time. Yeah, that's great, Amanda. Yeah, yeah, try to nail when you haven't got dogs biting your fingers, that is. Good. I mean, I always try to get all my new starters to start off with a weekly plan so they can do it. And obviously, it's not always possible, especially if you've got young children and you're not quite sure, if they're going to be ill or anything like that. But if you start off with a plan, then you can adjust it. If you don't start off with any plan and you wake up every morning just thinking, oh, well, depending on what mood I'm in, I might put the catalogues out or not, I guarantee you're not going to achieve many goals that way. Ooh, sorry. Okay, so I kind of talked about setting your first goals, and that's a really, really important part of Kleeneze. It's kind of setting and achieving those first goals. It proves to yourself and to other people that you can earn some money with Kleeneze. And every time you achieve a goal, you can set yourself more challenging goals and more exciting goals. So hopefully that's given you an idea for some goal setting. Now, there's a little checklist which I go through with my team members for things that you need to try and make sure you do during your first month or so in the business. So what I try to do is say to my team members, try to become immersed in Kleeneze. And what I mean by that is do something to do with Kleeneze every day for 21 days. They say if you want to make something a habit, do it for 21 days. And so you might not be putting catalogues out every single day, but you can watch a webinar, you can watch one of the recordings, you can read some of the books that you've been sent, you can get your catalogues out, you can pick them back in again, you can start to learn a bit about team building, you can go to a local meeting. If you do something in the business every day for 21 days, you start to become immersed in it, and that's it's a really good place to be, because then you start seeing opportunities all over the place then. Make sure you've done your weekly planner, kind of been through that briefly with you. So if you've got your weekly planner in place and you're following your steps, you should easily be able to put something every day in your weekly plan, which you then repeat for the first 21 days. And then another thing I say is make a list of everyone you know in Kleeneze. Now, this might not be a one-off task. You might start off just writing kind of 5 or 10 people, but the idea is that you're looking to hopefully get into some team building. And there's 2 ways to start doing this. So firstly, if you speak to people that you know, they might be willing to have a look at a catalogue and help you out and make an order and take an order from you, and they may become regular customers. We've got a number of customers that are just friends that when I spoke to when I first started Kleeneze 6 years ago. They said, "Oh yeah, drop a catalogue round," and they're now in my customer base. So if you've got friends who are close to you locally, then make sure they know that you're started doing Kleeneze. And you never know, those people might also be interested in earning a bit of extra money themselves. The other thing that's really, really important, certainly in your first 4 weeks, even if you don't do this in your first 4 weeks, you should make a start on it, and that is to create your retail story. And your retail story is basically, in your first couple of months, how much were you earning from Kleeneze? Because if you decide to get into the team building, and most people don't when they first start off, but they often do later on in their Kleeneze journey, then if you've got a good retail story, and by that what I mean is you can show people that you've earned an extra £50 a week or £100 a week during your first month or two, then that's a really great talking point, because if somebody's interested in earning a bit of extra money, they're going to say to you, "Well, I might do it. How much did you earn when you first started off?" Now, if you say to them, "Oh, well, to be honest, I've just been messing about, I haven't earned any money yet," then they're probably not likely to want to join. But if you say to them, "Yeah, no, I had a really good start. I was making £50 a week in my first month, and then it was £75 a week once I'd been in the business a couple of months," that extra £50 a week can make such a lot of difference to people. So really work hard in your first couple of months to get your first, hit the 10% bonus, get the 30-day bonus. I think the 30-day bonus works so well because you get lots of free catalogues, you get all the free orders delivered to you for free, and if you work really hard on that, you can hit your 10% in either your first period or your second period, which will give you an extra kind of £50 bonus on top of your commission as well. So as well as blanketing your catalogues, then you should be speaking to friends, family, neighbours, and presenting catalogues locally as well if you want to do that, just to try and get a really good story when you first start off. Another good recommendation I've got for starting off on putting on your checklist is to read a book. There's a book by Don Failer called The 45-Second Presentation, and it's quite an easy book to read. It's quite short, 50 pages, something like that. Big words, lots of pictures, so it really doesn't take long. You can literally read it in one session or a couple of sessions. And it's nothing to do with Kleeneze. It's all about network marketing. It's understanding how this kind of industry works, where you can introduce other people to the business and earn money from their sales as well as your own, and they might introduce people and so on. And that's just a really good way to sort of get your mind around how it works. And it's the start of your journey through personal development. And personal development is something that I talk a lot about, not in this particular webinar, but in some of the later ones. And people who have really embraced that will often go on and do really, really well in this and in other parts of their life as well. I would also say in your first 4 weeks, attend as many meetings as you can possibly manage. So there will almost certainly be a local open evening near you. They're once a month. You might have to drive half an hour or an hour or so to your nearest one, but definitely worth getting along there. Go along with your sponsor if your sponsor lives local to you. There'll be millionaires. There's a Southern Millionaires meeting. We've just had one this weekend gone. There's a one based up in Newcastle. There'll be lots of trainings. Your local sponsor will probably have little team meetings as well. And then there's the big Kleeneze meetings, the showcases, which are normally around Birmingham. Last year I think we had one in Cheltenham, and earlier this year there's one up in Bolton. So find out when those meetings are near you and really get along, so at least try and get along to at least one, because you'll be amazed at kind of what you get out of them. And finally, contact your sponsor as often as you can. I do a lot of sponsoring, and I can tell almost immediately within a week who's going to do well in Kleeneze and who isn't. And almost invariably, the ones that do well are the ones that are contacting me. They're ringing me up saying, "Oh, Chris, the catalogues have just arrived. I'm not quite sure what this is for." Or, "Chris, I'd like to do this bit of training I've just had an email about. How do I do that?" And they're kind of curious and they're wanting to get a start on. The ones that don't contact me and that I have trouble getting hold of are often ones that they kind of just not getting involved. They're not getting immersed in Kleeneze. They're kind of sort of thinking, "Oh well, I'll only do this a couple of hours, sort of a couple of times a week, and I don't need to answer the phone or get back to leave or get any messages back or anything like that." And those people kind of miss out on a big opportunity just because they're kind of not really getting involved with it. So if you've just joined, I would say contacting your sponsor 2 or 3 times a week and daily at the beginning is a great thing to do, and your sponsor will love it. Don't sort of think, "Oh well, I'm pestering them, they're going to be really busy." Believe me, if you've got a sponsor and you're ringing them up and you're curious and excited and wanting to know what to do next, then your sponsor will just absolutely love that. So okay, so I've talked a bit about that checklist. I'm now just going to introduce a little bit about residual income, which is one of the big reasons that I joined Kleeneze. Basically, a residual income is an income that you're paid again and again and again, long after the work that you did to earn it has finished. So a common sort of residual income that most people are aware of is something like a best-selling author. J.K. Rowling, for example, wrote all the Harry Potter books, whatever, I don't know, sort of 5-10 years ago now. Finished writing those. Every time one of those books is sold in a shop, she makes some money out of it, and that's a great residual income. Similar to songwriters, whoever it is that wrote a sort of #1 hits back in the day, whenever they get played again on the radio or anything like that, or anybody downloads them or buys copies of them or anything like that, they get money from that again, long after the work has finished writing and performing that song. Now that's great, but unless you're a best-selling author or a best-selling songwriter, that might not be something that is on your horizon, as it were, in the next few sort of days and weeks. So there's a couple of other ways to earn residual income that I wanted to explain to you. So one is, and this is something that we're probably all familiar with, your savings. If you've got money in the bank, in an interest-bearing account, so a savings account or an investment account, something like that, you'll be earning money on it without having to do any work. So the money's in there and you're earning a residual income. Now, interest rates at the moment are not brilliant, probably 2.5%, something like that. So just to give you a rough idea, if you had £100,000 in the bank, I don't know about you, but I haven't got that much, but if you did, then you'd be earning around about £200 odd every month in interest. That's not bad, you might not be able to live on 200 quid a month, but it could buy you a few treats and things. Now, another way to achieve the same thing is to start building a Kleeneze team. So if, for example, you hit 10%, and what I mean by that is that you're putting in around about £200 worth of orders every week. And most people can do that within the first kind of 2, 3, 4 months of joining Kleeneze, depending on how much time you've got. So once you're hitting 10% regularly, if you've got some team members who are doing the same, then you will earn an extra income, a residual income if you like, from that. And just to give you an idea of how much you'll earn, if you've got just one team member in, your bonus on top of what you're earning at the moment is probably only about £30 a month. Not a lot, but £30 for nothing. Well, not nothing. £30 for sort of supporting your team member isn't a bad start. But that increases quite significantly. If you've got 5 team members all doing the same as you, you'll be earning an extra £240 a month. Now that's interesting. If you just look back over here again, if you had £100,000 worth of savings, you'd be earning just over £200 a month. Or if you had 5 team members hitting their 10% level, you'd be earning even more than that. So I don't know about you. What do you think is most likely in the next kind of 6 to 12 months, that you might save up £100,000, or you might find 5 people who could do what you do. I don't know which one I think is most likely for me. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the power of Kleeneze and the money that you can earn in comparison to other sources of residual income. So if that's kind of aroused your interest a little bit about, what's this team building stuff all about, how would you do that? I just want to give you a little quick start and a quick and easy way to start doing team building before you even know how to really. And that is just getting started with your warm list. So here's a good way to do it, and I kind of recommend this to all my team members. First off, just make a list of 10 people that you know. And I would start off with 10 people that you feel happy talking to, that you know fairly well, and call them up using what I call the third party approach. Excuse me. Now the third party approach is basically just ring them up and say something along these lines. Hi Chris, I hope you're well. Chris, I wondered if you can do me a favour. I've just started a new little business, and I wondered if I send you some information about it, would you take a little look at it and see if you can think of anybody who might be interested? So you're not saying to them, hi Chris, you're always skint, you could probably do with a bit of extra money, why don't you join Kleeneze? Because all that's likely to do is wind them up and they'll tell you where to go. But if you say, would you do me a favour and see if you know anyone who might be interested, then they're always going to say, oh yeah, I'll have a little look for you, you never know. And you're just sowing some seeds there, because it may be that actually they could do with an extra 50 or 100 quid a week. So once you've asked them if that's okay, you can then send them the information, either a DVD or an email to the mykleeneze.com with the Angela Griffin video. That's a great thing to send them. And then just give them a quick call a couple of days later. Hi Chris, did you get a chance to have a look at it? Was there anybody that you thought of that might be interested? Now, you can add more people to that. Once you've spoken to 10, every couple of days you can add a few more people to it, ring those up, ask them to do the same. And what you're doing here is you're sowing seeds. You're basically saying to people, I've got a way to earn a bit of extra money. If you know anybody who might be in the same position, who might be interested in doing that, let them know. But you never know when the people that you actually speak to might be interested. At the moment, they might not need the extra money. They might be quite happy with their life and so on. But these days, a job's not forever. You never know when somebody might get made redundant, or their partner might get made redundant, or somebody has another baby and needs a bit of extra money, or the rent goes up, or who knows what can happen. But the fact that you've told them you've got an extra way to earn a bit of extra money, you never know when they might come back to you and say, hey, are you still doing that Kleeneze thing? By which time, hopefully, you'll be on kind of 300, 400, 500 pounds or more a month. And that could be a huge benefit to them if they're suddenly in a situation where they need to improve their finances. So, a couple of quick questions, guys, just to make sure you are all paying attention. We're coming towards the end now. What are the 2 different ways to earn money in Kleeneze? Anyone remember from the beginning? Yep, retail and the residual side, yeah, which is the team building, the sponsoring. Well done, guys. Glad to see you're on the ball. Yep, Neil, team building and catalogues. That's it. That's the stuff. Okay, 2 different ways to earn £200 a month residual income. How would you do that? What are your options? Sell the kids, Neil. That would be a good thing to do. Can anyone remember? Yep, Simon, well done. 100k in the bank, 5 people in the team. Yeah, sell the kids, 5 people in the team, 100k. So yeah, that's it. So obviously, it's 100k in the bank. If you could save £100,000 in the bank, then 200 quid a month might not be top of your list. But certainly, finding 5 people who just want to earn themselves an extra 50 quid a week is certainly feasible. Yep, got that there. And right at the beginning, I said setting your goals and having the results to achieve them is great, but what should you focus on? Because you can't focus on the results. Yeah, it's the actions. That's it, Neil. Thank you, David. Yeah, very good. Because you can control your actions. You can decide if you put out 100 catalogues or 200 catalogues or not. You might not be able to deliver the results. One time you put them out, you might only get £100 worth of orders. Another time you might get 200. But you can focus on the actions that you take. And by focusing on that and doing it persistently and consistently, the results will come. Yeah, as I said, they're actions because you can control those. Okay, just finishing off. So what we've covered today is setting and achieving that first goal. That's a really good step in your journey. That quick checklist to go through to make sure you kind of get involved with the other aspects of Kleeneze, not just the catalogues in and out. And talked a little bit about residual income and the team building. So that's the end of tonight's webinar. Next week we're talking about building your customer base. So at the beginning, when you're first getting started, you're obviously doing a lot of blanketing, finding a few customers. How do you get that from where you are then to a customer base of loyal customers who order from you regularly? Okay, I'm just going to stop the recording, guys.